Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brown here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1459. One more sleep to go, and 4 years will be under the belt. Today we're talking about reset and getting ready to reset and ready to roll. Yep, that's about right. That's what we're doing. We're resetting and getting ready to roll into the next week and make it just such a super fantastic sparkling week. So some of you may have saw my live today on Facebook, sitting out in the backyard. I couldn't talk very loudly because it was before 7 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of houses around us, and I didn't want things echoing around too much. But basically, we're sitting out there waiting for the rain to start. We could hear the thunder rolling. It was getting closer. When I was sitting there, I was actually getting, I think, about 10 drops on me, and that was it. I swear. They even had the little wheelie thing with all the rain on and how heavy it was going to be in the area. And I was like, yes, we're going to get some rain. And I was all fired up and everything else. But those like 10 drops that I got when I was on the live, that was it. That was all the rain I got all day long. And then when I went back inside after doing that live, after I posted that picture, it was probably about 30 minutes later, I went to check it again to see when we'd get a break to take Zeffy for a walk. And the whole circle was completely clear, like no rain in the forecast. I'm like, what? So yeah, we went for a walk. It was actually a really cool walk because it was a little cooler. There was a nice breeze blowing, and we could hear the thunder rolling off in the distance, but it wasn't getting any closer. It was getting further away. And I'm like, but they said would be thunderstorms all day. So we got no thunderstorms. Surrounding areas did, but we did not. So I still am waiting for my rain so I can go out and dance in the rain. I was waiting for the rain to go out and dance in the rain. I was ready to rock and roll and do a little jig, do a little run, rain dance. That's what it was, runs. It's a rain dance. Zeffy spent most of the day there. That's what she said. But I was thinking, what can we do with ourselves to get us ready to rock and roll into the following week, into the week that's coming up? I mean, this week's going to be an amazing week. I'm back to out of class. My head's back on after today. It's back on straight again. Had a really good night's sleep on the brand new mattress thingy. And that was just so much cooler than this thing that's supposed to be cool. That actually made me feel hotter. So who knows? So what sort of things could we do? Some of the things that, some of these things I came up with a list. Some I did today, some I did not. Meditation and mindfulness. I try to start each day with meditation and mindfulness. I don't always do it. I would like to get consistent at it, and I am working on it because it's part of my 90 days of self-love, the 90-day self-love challenge where so I'm trying to find that little pocket where I can, and that little space in the house where I can sit and do my meditation and my mindfulness, and just practice it on a daily basis. I'm not consistent with it, I will admit that, but I am going to improve on that one. Nature walks or hikes. Now, I love spending time in nature because it's very rejuvenating for me. And we have a park nearby which has got these beautiful trees in it, and there's a lot of wildlife. You get to see a lot of different birds out there. You get to see butterflies and rabbits and the quail. The quail are hilarious. Right now, mum and dad, there's this one quail family. There's mum and dad and 10 chicks, and they actually live in the bushes about 2 houses down from us. And the funny thing is that when they hear us coming, because Zeffy's tags jingle a little bit, all of a sudden they get very excited, and you can hear them like chitty 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 with each other, and as they're running around, and all of a sudden they'll all just like take flight. I didn't actually know that quail could fly because I've only ever seen them running around on the ground. If you've never seen quail running, they are the funniest things to watch. Their legs are going so fast that sometimes you can't even see where their legs are. It's just this blur underneath their body as their body moves. And the little chicks are so hilarious. They don't know which direction to go. And you've got one adult bird leading the pack, and then the other one's behind doing this backwards and forwards thing, trying to corral everybody and get them all into a safe place. And this morning they actually got split up. So one part of it was across the road, and so one parent was across the road with 8 chicks, and the other parent was stuck on our side of the road with 2 chicks. And you could see her. She was like running, or him, her, I don't know which one it was, but the parent was running backwards and forwards between these two, hurting them. And Zeffie's just strolling along, not paying them any attention. And I'm just watching the interaction because they're up ahead of us and they can see us coming. And they jump up into this front yard area. And when we get up there, we couldn't see them. And they were behind a bush there. But once we got across the road and I looked back, the one who had been left with the 2 had gone across the road to where the one with the 8 were, and they were herding the 8 back to where the 2 were. I tell you, those quail are hilarious just to sit and watch them. But, we were out walking. We got to see lots of rabbits this morning and lizards. Oh, my gosh. And they've got lizards here that are about this long with their tail. And then there's these little baby ones that are about this big. Those ones, when they run, their legs are blurry too. It's just this body moving across the ground very quickly. But yeah, we got to get out in nature, and and there's a lot of trees out there, and you've got the grass there, and just to get out in nature and just to be part of it and to witness what's going on and everything else. So I'm glad that every day I get to walk at least twice down there in the park and just walk around in nature and that sort of stuff. And they've got the concrete paths, but there's times that we take walks on the actual grass. They have a disc golf thing on there. If you don't know what disc golf is, it's basically these heavy weighted frisbees that you throw at these basket things that are the holes. And it uses all the same terminology as golf, which is hilarious to listen to, especially when you're used to seeing a putter being a stick with a certain type of head on it for putting, and they're talking about putting discs. So they actually have discs that are called putters as well. So it's been a mind switch on that one. Another way that you can get rest and relaxed and ready to roll for the week is digital detox. Taking that time off. This is the first time today I've had the computer on. Yes, I've had my phone next to me, but I haven't been on that much today. And I had the iPad there, but I was playing games on it for a part of the day. But trying to stay off social media a lot. Journaling is another way that you can, that's part of the mindfulness, meditation and mindfulness. I always put journaling, meditation and mindfulness together. And basically, I haven't done any journaling today, but I was thinking of different ideas on how I could use certain tools to help create different content and that sort of stuff as well. So that was kind of fun. A creative expression is another way that you can engage in a creative activity, such as drawing, writing, painting, even exercising. Like if you like to stretch, that's always a fun one to do. But just anything creative, even if it's putting something like a jigsaw puzzle together. That, to me, actually having a table space where I can lay out a jigsaw puzzle and actually physically put the pieces together is kind of a meditation for me. I love doing it. And sometimes in the RV, I didn't have the space to do a jigsaw puzzle, so I would do ones on the iPad. But now I have space and I have a table available for jigsaws. I just haven't found my box with the jigsaws in yet. And I have some jigsaws still sitting back in the RV. We're hoping to go to the RV today, but that didn't happen. We just had a day in. It was good. Yoga or stretching, doing that gentle stretches in your body to help release stress from the body. Remember, stress is not just mental, it is also physical. Your body can be physically stressed by your environment, by what's around you, but it may not affect, your head may be on your shoulders the correct way for you. Everybody has a correct way for having their head on their shoulders. But yoga and stretching, sometimes you're holding tension in your body that you don't realize that you're holding. Sometimes you'll get the tension in the shoulders and the neck, maybe the headaches. Headaches are always a good way for tension. In joints and legs and hips, especially if you sit a lot. So I'm getting back into doing stretching exercises to help, because I know I do sit a lot, but then there's also times during the day where I can get up and I can walk around, and I have a lot of space to walk around too. Healthy eating, planning and preparing your nourishing meals for the week ahead. I've been looking through the recipe book. I just haven't done the shopping or the cooking today. But making sure that it contains a healthy recipe, a healthy diet for yourself, for whatever it is whatever way you're eating. Everybody has their different ways. There's all these different plans out there. Everybody has their favorite. So whatever your favorite way of healthy eating is, you can do some pre-prep. I probably should have done this list last night. Aromatherapy and baths. I am always using aromatherapy. In my kitchen on one of the counters is a tower that stands up like this, and it's got these different wheels on it, and each wheel has about 30 to 40 different bottles of essential oils. And then sitting on my desk here, I've got frankincense. I've got neroli. I haven't used that one. Huh, I wonder what this one's for. Oh, I just broke the seal on it. Ooh, that kind of smells nice. Yeah, might have to look into that one. I got to look that. Some of them I do have to look up to see what they're for, but that one I don't have my phone here to look up. This one is Davana. I was using that all of last week. This one has such a really cool smell to it. It's a kind of, for me, it's a beachy type of smell, and it just, so it brings the indoors outdoors. No, it brings the outdoors indoors. That's the one. Lavender, always good for good things. I've got sunny citrus. I don't think I've tried that one. I haven't tried that one. What does that one smell like? Break the seal on that. Ooh. I'm going to have to put that one in my diffuser for here in the office, because that smells really cool. My On Guard beadlets for my body's immune system. Citrus bloom. This I like to put on the woolen balls the dryer balls that are made of wool, and you put a couple of drops on this in the dryer, and the heat activates it, and it gets into whatever you're doing the laundry on. Island mint. Ooh, that one smells good. I got a blocked sinus right now. Kind of like that one. Oh, this is my favorite one for the office. It's Spanish sage. It helps with attention and focus. Yeah, I can feel that clearing the head. But I'm always using aromatherapy in different parts of the house. I have plug-in diffusers that plug into the outlets and pump out oil every now and again on some timer thing. I don't even know how long the timer is. I got one out there in the open room, and that one is Northern Exposure, Northern Forest, Northern Evening, something like that. It's got Northern in the title, but it's really cool. And I had it going when the guys were moving us in, and they were putting the table over near that area, and they're going, "What is that smell?" I go, "It's the diffuser down there." And they go, "That's really cool." And it says that you can also, you can use aromatherapy in baths. I am not a bath person. Let me get in the shower, get in and out as quick as possible. Brad used to hate it. He says, "Well, go and take a bath." I'm like, "I'm not going to help you relax." I'm like, "Okay." Well, we had this jacuzzi tub back east, and the whole time that we were there, I used it maybe once or twice a year in the 12 years we were in the house. And I would get the bath all ready and sit in there, and I'd get my book, and I would read for a bit, and I'd read about 3 or 4 pages, and I was done. Time to get out. I don't stay in hot water very long because I'm actually warm-blooded, so it just overheats me. So yeah, some people can do baths, and I mean, Brad could stay in the bath for an hour, no problem at all. He loved his baths, but not me, not this one. Connect with loved ones, spend quality time with family and friends, engage in activities that can help bring joy to your relationship, that can help improve your relationship with people, and just have time, going out and having a picnic together. Okay, not in 118 degrees heat. Actually, no, it was 114 today. They said it was going to be 108, which meant it was on the borderline for extreme, because extreme weather here is anything over 108, and it was 108 today. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Reading and learning, feeding your mind with inspiring books, podcasts, documentaries, and choose other topics that interest you, and don't just go, "Oh, somebody told me I had to watch this, so I better go watch it." Watch it if you want to. Look at what it's about. If they're telling you to go watch this thing, "Oh, hey, that's really good." Go read what it is about. Find out what that program is or that movie is, and go and read for yourself and make your own decision whether or not yes, people can inspire you. People can say, "Hey, this is a really cool book," or "This is a really cool thing." Do your own research. Is it something that you don't just go buy it on somebody say so. Have a look at it. Is it something that, because this is a trap I fell into. People always recommending books. So I was always buying books. I got a whole slew of books there that I'm going to be going through. And some of them are just sort of like, I have never read them, but it was recommended by somebody, so I went and got it. Now I have learned when somebody recommends a book, like on this course I was doing this week, they were recommending different books to have in your resource library and that sort of stuff. And so I went and I read up on them, and I have not purchased any. I have, because some of them I already have anyway. But they're sitting there. I've got the list made up to go over again in about a week to see, is this something that I can use is this something I'm going to use in my resource library, or is it something that I need to be reading? And some of the books they recommended were actual real life stories of a mystery that somebody solved in their family, and how they used, what methods they used to solve the mystery of a particular family, a particular person within the family. So it wasn't a story on the whole family. It was just a story on this one person and solving the mystery around that person. It sounds like it could be a good story. I've got it in my list on, I've got a recommended reading list on Amazon. So it's sitting in there, and I'll go back in a week and I'll have a look at it and I'll read the description of it again. I may, if they've got a sample on there, I may read the sample. Is it something I'm going to keep reading? Yes, no, maybe. If it's a no, it gets taken off the list. If it's a maybe, it stays on the list and we'll revisit it later on. If it's a yes, it gets purchased. It's that simple. Or maybe I would decide, no, I'm not going to purchase it now. I'm going to leave it on the list and purchase it at a later date. So those are some of the ways that you can help rest the mind, the body, the soul, get rested and reset for the week coming up. If you throw some of these into your daily practices as well, like scheduling time in your calendar for yourself, where it's not picking up the phone first thing in the morning and having a look at it. It's leaving the phone where it is, going off, doing your meditation, your mindfulness, your journaling, maybe do some stretching and some yoga at that time as well. And then come back and have your shower and get dressed for the day. And, however you want to do your routine. Everybody has their own way of doing their routine in the morning. You got to find what works for you. You can get lots of suggestions from lots of people about how to do, how to set your morning routines. Your morning routines are your morning routines. Find what works best for you. What is the best way for you to start the morning? Some of you, it's sort of like, I've got the coffee on the timer. I get up when that timer is done so that I can go straight to the kitchen and get my morning cup of tea. Some people have that as their routine. Me, I'm out of bed. I make the bed first. One thing off my to-do list for the day. The bed is made no matter what happens. And I have been doing that for years and years and years and years. And who was that? There was that admiral that talked about, has got that book written about making the bed. And everything he said in that commencement speech that he did, I totally agreed with it. I was sort of like, yep, that was the first thing we had to do when I was in the Air Force on boot camp. First thing we had to do in the morning when we got it was basically strip our bed down and make a bed pack. And that involved folding the sheets and the blankets that we had to pull our bed apart every day on the linen side of it, put the canopy on first, the cover, and then the rest of it got put into a bed. We had to make a bed pack, which was basically folding one blanket very long ways this way in fourths, and there was a way to hide the edges and everything else. And then we had to put what did we have to do? Blanket goes around. Then it was blanket, sheet, blanket, sheet, blanket, and then we had to wrap this whole thing up in this box, and it had to look perfectly square without anything inside it to make it square. So we weren't allowed to put clothes hangers in there to make it look square, like the wire ones, which were very good at doing that. And we had to make it look like it. If we did use them, we had to make sure it looked like it. We didn't use the. Yeah, it was a trick. I never learned the trick. I never put anything in my bed pack. I thought if my bed pack ain't square enough, then I'm not folding it right, and I'm going to keep working on it till I got it right. And I did. I worked on it. But we had to do that every single day on our boot camp, which was 13 weeks long, except for when we came back from Dip Flat. And Dip Flat was up in the mountains in the middle of winter, in tents, and those big green, those big green long tents. Yeah, we had those. We had like 6 people to a tent, with the army cots. in there in these sleeping bags, and yeah, I snuggled down in my sleeping bag. I was in my element. I mean, it was cold. It got down to freezing temperatures up there because we're in the middle of winter. There's snow on the mountains around us. We're up on one of the mountain ranges. That was like the best week of boot camp. I loved our week up at Dip Flat. It was awesome. And then at one point they took us up in they had the Iroquois helicopters, and they brought them in. They pinned the doors open. My seat faced out. All I had was a strap that was a hook and eye connection, and because they have to have quick release for when they're rappelling down and things like that. And we're sitting on webbing seats. I think they call them parachute seats. But our webbing seat faced out. There was webbing seat that then faced the back of the pilots, and then there was webbing seat on the opposite side that faced out. Mine faced out, and you just basically had a web belt that had a hook and eye connection. That was it. I mean, I think back to that now, and I'm like, that was all that was holding me in. And our backpacks were on the floor under these netting things, and we had a way that we had to disembark from the helicopter, and they didn't land it. They had it just a few feet off the ground, so we actually had to jump out of the helicopter. We didn't have to rappel down, thank goodness for that. I would have been a little more like, eek. And then and then somebody stayed there, and they had to toss the packs out. And there was a formation that we had to do. So if you ever see the movies where they bring the helicopter down low, and you see them get out of the helicopter and they go down on their stomachs and like with rifles and all of that, that's basically what we're doing without the rifles. And we had to do that. And then once the helicopter cleared, then we could get up and go and get our backpacks. And then we walked over to the area where our campground was going to be for 2 nights. And we had to pitch our tents, and we got assigned tent buddies and all of that. And the problem is that I was perfectly fine sleeping in the temperatures. But my tent mate, she was like freezing cold. And so she kept trying to snuggle up with me. The problem from her sleeping bag and bringing her sleeping bag over my son, just like snuggling up just so we could share body warmth. And I'm like, will you get off me? Because I was like hot in the sleeping bag. And every time she tried to get close to try and warm up, I was like, it is so freaking hot in here. She's going, I'm so cold. And I'm going, you're cooking me. And so, yeah, we kind of had that battle. We didn't sleep very well for those 2 nights because she was always cold. And whenever she snuggled up, I was hot. But, we had to share body warmth and all that sort of stuff. So one of us was suffering, one of us was freezing, or one of us was overheating. So that's how it was in our tent. And I remember when we came to hiking out, I had done a lot of hiking on mountains with my parents in my teenage years. And so they wanted us to put these long pants on. And I was sort of like, I said to the flight sergeant, I said, I'm used to hiking in shorts. Is it okay if I put shorts on now? And as soon as we get to the trucks, I've got the pants right at the top of my backpack. I will take them out and immediately put them on. He was like, fine with that. And one of the other guys was very much the same thing, did a lot of hiking, and he did shorts as well. So the 2 of us are long in shorts. Everybody else is in long pants. And we get to the thing. And the guy, and there was a commanding officer was there, one of the commanding officers, and he was there. And he looked at the guy and didn't say a word. He took one look at me in shorts and says, Eakins, get some shorts, get some pants on. Yes, sir. That was all I said to him. And I'm like, why didn't he say anything to him? Because he walked past him in shorts and he never said a word to him. But me in shorts, I had to put pants on. So I pulled my pants, because I promised the flight sergeant that's what I would do. That was part of our agreement for me allowed to wear shorts on the hike, because I can't hike in pants. I tried it one time. It just did not, I overheated so badly. But yeah, so I have no idea how I got on that subject. How did I go from resetting in the week? But, work out your own routines. Have a morning routine that works for you, that helps you start the day in a relaxed, energized, calming way, so that you're not waking up in the morning and going, oh my gosh, the alarm's gone up. If you like that in the morning, set it a few minutes earlier, if you wish, and have a more relaxing wake up. I usually wake up before the alarm goes off. If the alarm wakes me, I will snooze it once. Sometimes I'll snooze it a little more than once. It just depends on the morning. So I just feel like laying here a little longer. It can change from day to day. But anyway, make up your own mind. Make up your own routine to give you a a start through the day. But yeah, oh yeah, that's how I got on making beds. But I've been making my bed long before that. You know, one of the things my parents insisted on was that we made our beds when we got up. As soon as we were big enough to make our beds, we made our beds. And that was it. You get out of bed, you make your bed, and then you can go and get dressed and everything else and go out and have breakfast, but you couldn't do that till your bed was made. And when I was a kid, they were dragging me out of bed because I was not a morning person. I did not become a morning person until I came to the US. And yeah, but I always make my bed, get out of bed, make it, and then I'm into my day. So anyway, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Remember, set your clocks for 6 p.m. tomorrow night, because tomorrow night we're celebrating 4 years of lives every single day for 4 years. And we're going to be having a special guest on tomorrow evening to help us celebrate. So come join the celebrations. What are we doing tomorrow night? I have absolutely no idea. I will by the time we get on the air, though. I promise we'll have something planned by the time we get on the air. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Put in 6 p.m. Pacific into your calendar to come back and join us tomorrow evening for the celebration of 4 years of lives every day for 4 years. That'll be 1,460 days. I think I have close to 3,000 videos on YouTube from daily lives. So anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will see you back here tomorrow evening for a celebration. Woohoo! He konera.